It's the 1st of June, and with the nice weather we've had this year, I'm really a couple of weeks late getting our plants out to their summer homes. So that's our agenda today. I want you to meet what's essentially a member of the family, is this asparagus fern. That goes way back before our tenure at the farm. I believe once upon a time it was a house plant when Dad and Donna were living here. Check me on that, Donna. At some point, it probably got moved out to the greenhouse and has been there ever since. I've tried very hard to kill it, but it's I don't know, it's kind of like a family member that just doesn't come to Thanksgiving dinner. It's been around a while. I was looking up how to care for asparagus ferns. One of the things it says was to repot it about every 2 years when the roots became pot bound. Well, I did get it out of the pot with some work. I'm going to guess it was never repotted, probably just potted 20 years ago or 30, I don't know. But would you say that it's looking kind of root bound? I don't know if there's any soil left in there. It's just all one big root ball. So anyway, we're going to see what we can do for that today. And who knows, with maybe any luck, we'll kill it, but I doubt it. I think it's probably going to turn into two. I've cut it into two halves, and we've gone from this to, with quite a bit of ripping and tearing and cutting and teasing and all that, to that. So that's how we'll replant it, and we'll do the same thing to this one. Put it in some fresh dirt. It's another day in the Redneck Garage, and let's take a look at what we got going on. Today we're working on Red 2, which I took apart yesterday. Took the tires off, took the back fender off so I could get down and get at that transmission. It has been slipping, even though it does work somewhat. And so what I wanted to do is kind of check where it's at with fluid. And so I pumped all the fluid out of there. And this is what I got, which actually shocked me. I'm surprised it worked at all. It's supposed to have 2 quarts in there. So I pumped out this old stuff, and I'm going to refill it today. Got some new tires for it. Got those mounted this morning down at Les Schwab, and they're ready to put on. And so we'll put all this back together and see how it works. I'm crossing my fingers because even though I have 3 tractors here at the farm, 2 of them are back out of commission with head gasket issues. It's like, man, it's take 1 step forward and 2 steps back. So I'm counting on this one, which oddly enough, I only bought for the deck. And now it might be the rescue tractor that gets us through the other 2 getting fixed. We shall see. The daylilies are in full swing. And how pretty they are too. Also in full swing are a couple of climbing roses along the garden fence line. Well, hello there. Today we're going to be doing some farming, so to speak. I got a little bit of lawn mowing to do. Let me show you. You could say I'm a man that's outstanding in my field. And you'd kind of be right. So I got our tractor guy coming tomorrow to mow our place. But I usually like to do a little preparation for him. I went a little hog wild on the prep this year because you can probably see from here down, I went ahead and mowed with the lawn tractor. And I still have from here up. From there down was pretty dry, low growing stuff. From here up, this stuff, if you stretch it up, is about as tall as my shoulder, so I'd say about 5 foot tall. And it's a little bit heavy for the little lawn tractor. But there are a few spots I need to mow around that kind of get buried in the grass. One of them's right over there, and I'll bet you can't see it from here, even if I do this. You might be able to spot it. There's a fence post sticking up in there. Can you see it? Well, let me mow around it a little bit so I make sure he sees it. He's got a full-size tractor with a big brush hog on the back, but I don't want him hitting a few of the obstacles we have. We're getting a little mowing done today. Sounds like he's got a blade hitting the side of the deck over there. Meanwhile, things have started to dry up around the valley. You can kind of tell from a look down the valley. That's the forest road there in the foreground behind us. You can see some of the area where I mowed yesterday. He's just made one pass so far. The rest of that's me. Little lane up and down from the lower pasture to our walking gate there. And most of this is what I've already done. He made one pass there on the perimeter of what's left, but most of that I did. I left him the taller stuff to do. And I got the lower pasture done there. Down on this part. Looking pretty dry, isn't it? There you can see the parts I did. I've been picking on the cherry tree over here. Let's take a look. I'm up in the tree today picking cherries. And I've gotten about 2 of these little buckets so far today to add to the batch we picked and froze the other day. So yeah, it's a bowl of cherries up in the tree. However, the ripest cherry is always just out of your reach when you're on the ladder. And so I'm pretty sure that if you come to my funeral and it was because of a fall from a ladder, it'll be, you know, they'll put it on my tombstone. He was reaching for that most ripe of cherries. Well, it's the middle of June, and here's what the vineyard is looking like. I don't think any of this has been accosted by our local Bambis. And so today we're taking it from looking like this to looking more like that. And this will be probably the first of 3 times, 2 or 3 times. It'll keep growing. We do have fruit coming. And probably plenty of it. So we're excited about that. Got some coming in here. Looking good. And so this fence is doing its job. Wahoo. Go team. The garden, the garden is fairly deer proof. I think it's working with that, but it's not quite turkey proof yet. And I'm not sure, I think they're getting through probably some holes in the fence that are along the hedge here. They must be burrowing through the stuff a deer wouldn't do, and they're lower than a deer would crawl through. Deer would have to get down on its belly. But I think down on this end down here, there might be holes in those bushes big enough for them to squeeze through. I can't imagine turkeys going to all the trouble of flying over the fence with so little to gain from it. Let's see how they choose to get out. I might just be chasing them around in circles here for a minute. Oh, let's see if they're head toward. Okay, they are heading back toward the spot I'm suspicious about. Oh, they're coming through. Yeah. Okay. They're coming through this gate. I may have to slap a piece of fencing on that gate. Oops, now they took off. No, they didn't go through the gate. Let's see where they're going now. We're going round and round. A few of them flew over the fence. I know they can take off and fly feeling threatened like they do now. But you can see how much they prefer to walk. Can't we walk out of this? Oh, there we go. They're actually pretty majestic birds in the air. Oh, we got some landed on the house, the little ones. We're on a little getaway. This is Crane Prairie Reservoir, where Dad and I used to go fishing once in a while. And Kenny came along on one trip. And way over yonder, across the little inlet here, I'll zoom in for you. On top of that tree is a bald eagle. Let's see what my 100x zoom lens will do for me if I take a still.
Hello.
We're sitting here having our designer chocolate milkshakes. And let me flip this around. There's our view. We're at Cultus Lake Resort on Cultus Lake, just off Cascade Lakes Highway. We're not spending the night. We're up here kind of checking it out, but it was going to be our lunch destination tomorrow. Pretty sure. There's another lake that's competing, but this is definitely in contention. We hear good things about the burgers here. This is Crane Prairie Reservoir Resort, where we're just sitting for a few minutes taking in the view. Crane Prairie Reservoir. Dad and I fished here a couple of times years ago, and Kenny did too. Probably when he was about, 7 or 8. The resort has a little marina. You can rent boats. The end of the lake that we camped at was way on the other side. It was kind of over the top of that boat in the middle there. So this is Mount Bachelor, and there are some years that they ski Mount Bachelor into June, but that is not this year. Now we're at Twin Lakes Resort, sitting here taking in the view, watching the boaters and paddlers.
It's a nice little lake.
It's a little lake, yeah. We're on a little dirt road turned more like cow trail, very bumpy. It said it would loop us back to the main road. Google Maps told us that. There's only one problem. We came from down that way and we're supposed to go straight behind me. And that's what's straight behind me. It almost looks like maybe there used to be a bridge here. I don't know. And I don't know, somewhere over there the road picks up. But I don't think we'll be making this crossing. That said, is that pretty? Oh my gosh. I think this might be the upper waters of the Deschutes River. We're up above Crane Prairie Reservoir. So if you follow this down, I don't know, probably 1/8 of a mile is all, it'll spill into the reservoir. You know, it seems to me that Burt Reynolds got his Trans Am across a little river like this.
Is that right?
And that's a GM. So it should have it in its blood if we could just hit the gas. And
Didn't he have a bigger engine or something?
might have had a little bigger ramp than that. But I don't know. Yeah, he probably had a much bigger engine. I'll bet we got a lighter car.
No. We have another car in the wing, so maybe we could damage this one.
Well, there you go. We'll just leave it in the river.
Right.
This is Lava Lake. With Mount Bachelor, Broken Top, and South Sister. This is Hosmer Lake. Again in the shadow of Bachelor. Devil's Lake. 9 feet. We are at Subtle Lake. Heading home from our nice trip in tandem cars. So we decided it had been, 30, 45 minutes already since we left Bend, and we needed, been too long apart, hadn't it? So we stopped here to have lunch and chat.
Yeah.
And this is our table by the lake at Subtle Lake at the boathouse. It's a little bit windy. Weather might be iffy. We'll see. It might be the 250th anniversary of our country, but right now we're having the parade of the century. And what does that mean? Well, we got wrapped up our Bend visit with buying a brand new 23-year-old, wait for it, you'll never guess what kind of car, Buick Century. And yep, we're going to do this one more time. And so we're going home tandem. I'm in the new one. Terry is right behind me. This is the Cascadia Bridge. where we have been before, right along Highway 20, east of Sweet Home. Nice little place to stop. Looks like it's in need of a little repair. Yep, here we both are on the way home. Which one do you want to drive on the last leg?
I don't care.
Either way. This little Cascadia community is kind of unique because you got, looks like everybody's post office is right here next to the outhouse. So I guess you'd call that a pooping post or something. Let's take a quick look at progress on the garden and the orchard and the vineyard. As of the 29th of June, almost before the next farm report. These are a new grafted variety of apples on our mainly king apple tree back here. And we do have some of the original kings going on. But we really don't like these apples too much. They get huge, but they're usually kind of soft and yucky on the inside. So we have, this is a graft where you see the paint there. This is a graft. It too is bearing for its first year. That's exciting. This is graft, but it's not bearing this year. Down here, hopefully next year. On our next apple tree, I can't remember the variety here, but they're going strong. They usually do pretty well. And we have two different grafts going here. And they're on, I just think that's their second year, so we wouldn't be expecting them to produce anything right now. Not much on our peach tree this year. Getting a few plums. I do wish this would grow a little more vigorously. I probably need to throw some nitrogen on it or something. Second year on this plum, and no real fruit yet. It did flower this spring, but third year on this plum, and it's going bonkers. So we're going to get quite a few plums off of that one this year. Apple tree wants to throw out an apple this year. Well, we'll let it. And it got picked on by the deer pretty hard last year, and it looks like it's recovering pretty well. Heavily grafted plum tree. Remember, this is the one that did nothing, absolutely nothing for years in terms of fruit. And these are the pluots, some people know as plum cots, cross between plum and apricot. And all of our grafts are, this tree is probably 90 or 95% grafts now, in terms of all the foliage you see. So it's done really well. And that grafting happened about 1.5 years ago, so that's not very old. Pear tree. I wish the leaf growth again was a little more vigorous and deep green. I might need to put some, but we do have some pears coming on this one. This apple tree, from all that I read and research about it and its condition, it is just pretty much slowly biting the dirt. And the problem is, down here on the very base of the trunk, it's missing half of its bark. Probably more than 50% of the way around the tree. And according to the interweb, once that happens, all the nutrients are kind of blocked off from getting up there. So we have not pruned this tree in probably 4 or 5 years. It just does not put on any growth. And I think it's slowly, you can kind of see the bark is getting black out on the tips, and then right down to about there gets to looking gray again, but not a lot of hope. This, I think, is a 3rd year cherry tree. It hasn't produced yet, but it's still young, and it's just really taken off with a growth spurt. A little bit last year, quite a bit this year. This was our main cherry tree that produced heavier than ever this year. We were so excited about that until we started, and we actually did freeze some cherries, pitted them and everything, began to notice as we were pitting them that something was moving in them. And what we found was they're all infested with little larvae from fruit flies. And so we're kind of bummed about that. So we basically decided to pitch those. Our farmer friend said, well, it's wrong with a little protein, just make juice out of them. Well, we probably should have, but there again, the interweb thingy, not that you can believe all that all the time, said that there could be bacteria in that larva that you don't want. So it's like, yeah, okay. Next year, they're apparently the way you deal with those little larvae and the flies is to spray the cherries once they're on the, forming. And you spray it with organic stuff that's made out of chrysanthemums. So we may do that next year. This apple tree, which is a multi-graft, appears to be bearing better this year than most. Most years this back graft here bears quite heavily, and the others are just kind of dwarfed by that. This year, all of the grafts seem to have apples on them, so we're excited about that. Blackberries are looking strong. These are the triple crowns down that way. And down this way, Marionberries, which don't seem to be bearing an awful lot of fruit, but there's some, and they're looking a little better each year. I think I hopefully have a little bit better handle on the irrigation this year, a little more reliable drip system. I have 2 drip lines going. One's buried down in the bark, and one you can see here tied to the lower trellis. And finally, the grapes. I think the grapes might just be looking as good as they have any year. So maybe we need the deer to come in and pick on them every other year. I don't know. I was really worried about them, but I have to say they are coming on strong. I've already done first pruning out here. You hear that crunching? It's me stepping on the dried up leaves from pruning them last week. So they are coming along, pretty tiny, but again, this is the end of June. We usually don't harvest until mid and late September. So they are looking good. Here's our Concords. They're almost the size of blueberries. At least in places. So yeah, a week ago you couldn't see down the rows. I had to come in and hack away with the hedge trimmer, and I imagine within about 3-4 weeks it'll be that way again. You won't be able to walk down there. With about 5 more days till the 4th of July, maybe 6, we definitely have knee-high corn, and maybe it'll make waist high by the 4th of July this year. Some of it will. It's looking good. I don't remember it coming along quite so well at this point in the year. We do have a couple of holes down here those were replanted 2 or 3 times. I'm not sure what's going on with those. This is squash, and it's the butternut squash. Had to think there for a minute. Not zucchini, don't worry, but butternut squash, which people seem to tend to like, and which I did not know until much later in life, into my 60s, that pumpkin pie is not made from pumpkins. It's made from butternut squash. So there you go. Our beans, pole beans, are starting to send out their stringers, and they're starting to climb. So we expect beans in probably 4 weeks, maybe even possibly in July. And I don't remember this much tomato growth. Those cages are about a good 4 feet over the ground, so I don't remember that much growth by the end of June. Usually it's looking more like that by the 3rd week of July. They're doing well. What's not doing well and looks pretty stunted to me are the raspberries this year. And it could be that I piled on at the end of last year too much of this wood mulch. Could be they're not liking that. I did lay down an extra irrigation. I'm irrigating the heck out of them, and still they look like they're drying up for some reason. So I don't know. Not sure what's going on with that. And this is our flower garden along the fence here, going gangbusters. It's also a volunteer garden because it looks like there's some squash growing in there, maybe some tomatoes, a plethora of weeds. And at this point, I'm not sure I can tell all the good weeds from the bad weeds. So it's all kind of coming up together for the most part. When I recognize a weed, I'll pull it, but otherwise I'm just kind of letting it all grow up together and see what blooms.
We found a little place in the pines, a forest hideaway made for two. The hostess smiled like she'd been waiting, said she hoped we'd love the view, and the quiet wrapped around us like a blanket, soft and warm. Just me and Terry walking slowly through a neighborhood safe and calm. We wandered where the mountains rise, where the Cascade Lakes shine blue, Crane Prairie white and silver, Twin Lakes whispering like they knew. Coldest Lake with sunlight dancing, Lava Lake wind swept and still, Elk Lake bright as heaven's window, and the peaks that make your heart beat still. Mount Bachelor stood there watching, broken top cut the sky in two. South Sister glowed like a promise, and the lava fields rolled through. The Deschutes River kept on singing a song older than the trees, and every step felt like a blessing, carried on a gentle breeze. We held hands like young sweethearts, didn't care who saw us there, just two hearts walking together with the Lord beside us everywhere. We had lunch at Coldest Lake, watching ripples kiss the shore, and I looked at Terry smiling like I'd never loved her more. Jesus came along with us. It was a threesome on that road, showing us the wonders of creation in the places only He could show. When the day turned golden and the sky I felt soft and free. I thanked him for the woman beside me and the love he gave to Terry and me. We stopped at Subtle Lake for lunch, the wind tugging at the shore, dock boards creaking underneath us like they'd seen this all before. Our new to us old Century waited 23 years strong and clean, a quiet piece of someone's story, now part of ours between. 3 hearts on the Cascade Highway, one love that never ends. Me and Terry walking together, and Jesus as our friend. I got 3 old tractors sitting out in the yard, 2 of them red, 1 silver trying hard. They should be humming sweet like a summertime breeze, but they're breaking down daily just to mess with me. One's got a belt that snaps every time I turn, one's leaking oil like it's trying to burn, and that silver one, Lord, it's a heartbreaker. Starts just long enough to call a repair maker. I just wanna mow my lawn like Forrest Gump. Straight lines, clean cuts, not a single bump. But I'm wrenching, patching, cussing in the midday sun. Yeah, I'm praying for the day when the job gets done. But 3 broke tractors still don't add up to 1. Drive by slow, pointing at the scene. Me buried in parts where the grass used to be green. I wave my greasy hand, say I'm doing just fine, but deep down I'm dreaming of a mower that's mine. Maybe someday I'll trade them for a shiny new ride, one that don't stall every time I shift to the side. Till then I'll keep fighting this mechanical war, 'cause a peaceful cut lawn's what I'm fighting for. Fighters want my lawn like Forrest Gump. No smoke, no sparks, no breakdown slump. But I'm wrenching, patching, sweating in the Oregon sun. 'Cause 3 tired tractors still don't add up to 1. Yeah, maybe someday I'll finally get it done. But 3 broke tractors still don't add up to 1.
I know.